We are going to start our presentation. It's energy saving lighting. It's called, our energy saving lighting is special. I call it optical film reflection lamp. Before everybody knows energy saving lighting, most of the energy saving lighting related to LED. But we are using totally different logic to develop our product. And in the meantime, we can achieve a higher saving percentage compared to LED. In the meantime, we try to delete the disadvantage of LED. And you can see this from the next presentation. Thank you. That's going back from year 2004. That's how we developed our first product. We saw in Olympic fire was lit up by a focused sunlight in Athens. So we developed our ideas by this scenery. We try to resume this experiment. So we make it our reflector bowl. You see the middle hole. There is a hole in the middle. And here is the light with 500 watt. Through this hole, we put a piece of newspaper and face the light within 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. This piece of newspaper was smoking and burning and burned out within 3 seconds. There are 2 major techniques involved in this experiment. The first one, the reflector efficiency must be very high enough to collect all the energy from the lamp, 500 watt. The second technology is we have to well calculate the curve, this curve, to make sure every light beam is designed to make it focus on one focus. If there is no focus, it's not possible to, burn a piece of newspaper. So after we make sure, our engineer team make sure we can do this, and then we start to develop our energy-saving lighting. Here is our principle. You see this one for a normal office 2 feet by 2 feet ceiling lamp. You have 360 degrees light, but for the light upwards and to the lateral, they are totally wasted because of the irregular surfaces, and that's a basic physics principles. So we make a curve, well-calculated curve, to make sure every light beam is reflected downwards. So we are not creating more light, we just avoid some waste. So all the upwards and lateral light now are totally reflected going down. And that's how we save our energy. And you can see from these figures, for traditional lamps, there are 4 tubes. Each traditional tube power consumption is 20 watt. Times 4 is totally 80, plus the starter and the transformer. So one set of the lamps, the power consumption is 115 watt. We use T5, 2 T5. Each T5 power consumption is 14 watts only. So times 2 is 28, plus the electronic ballast inside. So one set power consumption is only 31 watt. From 115 down to 31, it's already 75% saving. And this percentage is much better than LED. As far as I am understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, the average energy saving by LED is 50%, 55, 60, 65 maximum. But we can save you 75% and using the traditional T5. So in the meantime, you can see the illumination performance. We turn out to have a better lux. You see, at the height below the lamp, we turn out to have 430 lux, and the traditional lamp only have 283 lux. In fact, we don't have to be brighter. If our lux reading by our OFRL is equal to 283, we already save you 75% because we are using only 31 watt to compete with 115 watt. Okay, and we are not only bright in one point. So we measure also within the 50 centimeter diameter under the lamp, and also 100 centimeter diameter under the lamp. It turns out we have brighter illumination. And the cost saving analysis. Everybody is very curious about this. Okay, one-to-one comparison, we save you 84 watt. If you use your office 12 hours a day, 25 days a month, 12 months a year, and you got this saving, 302 kilowatt hour. And you can calculate by which country and which rate your power company will cost you, and then you can get your yearly saving per year. In Malaysia, I make it 0.4 ringgit per kilowatt hour from the government, great company, and then this is yearly saving. And so from this saving, you can get it payback within 2 years. Because the retail price now, we are 220 ringgit, including everything. So you get it paid, if you use 2 years, you save 240. So you get it payback within 2 years. If you have 24-hour stores, like underground 7-Eleven, or you have application for underground parking, you have to let the light on for 24 hours. Then everything has to be time multiplied by 2. This means your saving is multiplied by 2 as well. And so you get it, your investment payback within 1 year. There is another special design features for my energy saving lighting. Please pay attention on the pin here and the holes here. So with this pin and the hole, we can change the relative position of the tube compared to against the reflector. If I change the position of the tube, I can change the light distribution pattern. I can make the light a little bit focusing or diffusing, or make the light a little bit leftward or rightward. What is this design good for you? We have different ceiling height. Some ceiling height is 2.5 meters, some is 3 meters, some is 3.5 meters. For the traditional one, in order to keep the same level of illumination, the only way is to add more and more lamps. However, without lamps, you don't have to do so. You can make your light upwards, make it more focusing onto your working desk. So your working desk will be kept at the same level of illumination. However, the surround will be a little bit dark, but that's fine to you. So you don't have to add more and more lamps. Remember the figures? We just gave you the calculation example. Whenever you add one more lamp, it costs you 120 ringgit per year per set. So I think we might be the only lamp manufacturer which can change the light distribution pattern. Yeah. These are interesting photos. You see these two guys weigh 180 kilograms. They're standing on the structure of my fixture without, they won't damage these fixtures. Of course, normally you don't standing on a lamp, but this is just trying to show you how robust design my lamp is. Let's go back to the previous one. I have to say one more thing. For this is one piece for ABS material. It's first level anti-flame, so it meets any building material requirement worldwide. This socket, I purposely use Germany made. Why I want to use Germany made? Here is a contacting point with your power and your tubes. And this point get hot easily. If it is a normal plastic, it gets fragile. So when you replace 1 time or 2 times, this will be broken. And then the whole lamp is out of order. You cannot use it anymore. So I purposely use a Germany-made company called BJB. They manufacture the socket for more than 140 years, doing nothing but the socket. Okay. For temperature, because we are using so less power, only 25% compared to the original one. You see, I use in the detector to detect the temperature here is 41 degrees Celsius for your lamp, single lamp. And then with our high efficiency reflector lamp, you get out only 34.5. So you save another 6.5 degrees Celsius on your air conditioning cost. Remember, power-wise, you already save 75% from 115 watt down to 31 watt. If you consider more saving on your air conditioning cost, 6.5 degree, then it's not too exaggerated for me to say I can save your lighting energy 90% saving for your lighting. 90% means to you, to the customer, if you 1 month, every month you have 10,000 ringgit per month, now it goes to only 1,000 ringgit per month. So it's a huge saving. Remember the payback period calculation, we don't include in this one. Okay, here's our customer reference. Singapore Changi International Airport. They use our lamp since 5 years ago. And so everybody, whenever you travel to Changi Airport, you can take a look and then look at the overhead lamps. They all use my lamp. My lamp is very easy to recognize. One single set, only 2 tubes. You see, it's very bright, the whole selling stores. These are another 2 stores from Singapore Changi Airport as well. They have installed my lamps for more than 5 years. Within these 5 years, without a single component is replaced, even including the light tubes. And here some application in Taiwan. We have a very big franchise English school called Hess Kindergarten. They use my lamps. And then the IKEA group, they also use 1 set 2 tubes, use my optical reflection lamp. And Taiwan is very famous for semiconductor industry. There is a very famous semiconductor industry called MXIC. They use my lamp with 1 single 4-feet one for 24 hours monitoring their production devices, all the meters, and then they have to be bright. And there's another electronic factory. And this one is a very interesting photos. You see, from the right-hand side is my optical film reflection lamp. From the left side is the traditional 2 tubes, 1, 2, and we have only 1 tube. You see the illumination on the left-hand side and right-hand side is totally different. So this is a very good illustration example for you to see what's the difference. Only 1 single tube can produce more lumens for you. So this is how our company develop our product. Let me allow to have another presentation to you, because my company not only focus on energy saving. In the meantime, we have to create energy. So we also show our product in this iGEM. We have small wind turbines. And since we still have about 10 minutes, I would like to take this chance to also introduce you my small wind turbine product. This wind turbine is a cooperation model with, between Saturn Power Taiwan and Japan. So we see it's called Air Dolphin. After we introduced this model, this product to Taiwan, we have many customers, important customers, especially in the construction company and developers, real estate developers. All the #1 or #2 construction company in Taiwan, they are all my customers. Consider the wind turbine. It's very different from the solar panels, which people are more familiar with. Because solar panels are more stable. And then solar panels are stable, but wind turbines are dynamic. They follow the wind and then they rotate. So the consideration when you try to choose a wind turbine, you have to be more, get more considered points, try to be cautious. Especially for the installation location, it's very important. Try to make your wind turbine, can make it work for you for a long, long time. Malaysia is similar to Taiwan. It's surrounded by ocean. So more or less, the wind is corrosive. Plus a lot of rain. And Taiwan, we have typhoon. So for all the points you have to consider, then you can choose a wind turbine to work for you for a long time. Basically, if you go into the market, you can find two major types of the wind turbine. The first one is called vertical. They rotate it like this. The second one is called horizontal. They rotate it like this. What's the major difference? Okay, I'm going to compare the advantage and disadvantage for you. For the vertical type manufacturer, they usually say, I can accept wind from 360 degrees because the three blades, they are 360 degrees separated. Okay, that is true. But in the meantime, this advantage is also their disadvantage. Why? Assume the wind is blowing here. So this blade was driven by the wind, try to rotate. But the other two blades is coming up, so they stop the wind. So there are a lot of resistance in this design. They cannot rotate it real quickly. And what is the inference? I believe someone has a technical background. The generator, why they can generate electricity? Because they can cut and produce magnetic flux within a short time. If the rotation is not quick enough, the flux generation will be less. So that means your electricity generation will be less efficient. For this type, we rotate it this way. So when the wind blows, it can accelerate the blade rotation. It goes like this. So it will generate more electricity for you. So basically, if you want electricity efficiency, we highly recommend horizontal type. And this model has been shown internationally, world famous. In year 2008, the G8 summit was conducted in Hokkaido, Japan. In front of the hall this here, in addition to 8 countries' national flag, this air dolphin was shown right in front of the 8 nations' national flag. Yeah. Of course, this get a lot of good awards, but we don't want to introduce too much. The specification of this wind turbine is like this. The rated power is 1 kilowatt. The maximum power output is 4,000 kilowatt for on-grid type. The off-grid type is 2.3 kilowatt. There is an important figures. If you try to choose a wind turbine, you have to know what is the cut-in speed of your wind turbine. The wind turbine sales might sell to you, how good our wind turbine is, but don't be cheated. You just ask him a question. What is your cut-in speed? And what is your cut-out speed? These two figures give a good definition of the performance of a good wind turbine, because this wind speed is when start to generate power. This wind speed defines when to stop generate power. So from start generation to stop generation, these two figures will define a good wind turbine. So no matter if you go to the market and the wind turbine sales say how good our wind turbine is, blah, 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 don't be treated. Just ask him these questions, okay? And normally, you can find the vertical type. The power generation period is like this, 3 meters per second up to 15 meters per second. But this will go from 2.5 to 50 meters per second. Because in Taiwan, we have typhoon, so we have to design our wind turbine can accommodate very strong typhoon. This one is the classification of typhoon. The lightest typhoon started from 7.2 meters per second up to 32.6 meters per second. And the middle typhoon and the strong typhoon. And we can continue our electricity generation up to 50 meters per second. And this is a benchmark already for all the available wind turbine we can see in Taiwan. Now everyone is, after my introduction, everybody can look and focus on the cut-in speed and cut-out speed here. And the second thing you should pay attention to is the weight. It's a 90 kilogram for 400 watt. You see the rest, it's 135 for 1.8 kilowatt. So it's a huge difference. I will skip this design. Horizontal type, the efficiency is high. But what is the disadvantage? People will say to us, we will cause a lot of noise. Noise like this. So we try to learn from the nature. We observe an animal called owl. This animal only be active in the night. No man forest. This species can survive up to now. This means when they fly, there is totally no noise. So we try to take a feather and use the telescope to see the structure of this feather. We notice there is a stripe and a shape like this. So we use this point and design into our blades. We try to imitate the wisdom of nature and to reduce the noise level of our wind turbine. And this is our basic theory. When we make it the real product and put in the real wind field to test, the horizontal versus axis is the decibel, the noise level, the vertical type, and the horizontal is the wind speed. As you can see, the red triangle is the background noise from wind. The blue point is our wind turbine noise. We always cope, different speed, we also cope with the background wind noise. So in terms, we have 6 meters per second at 48 dB, and 12.5 meters per second, we have only 52 dB. So yeah, this means our imitation is quite successful. I think that's probably, my time is running out, so I will just stop here. If audience here is interested to know the products further, and please come to the Taiwan Pavilion, the CE48. And we have the real model shown here, the energy saving lighting and also the wind turbine. And basically, we think when you're trying to do renewable energy, you cannot do only one side. You just save energy, or you can do just solar production, but you still waste your energy. So both sides, you have to create energy from the nature. In the meantime, you save your energy consumption. So we can provide as a total solution to the customer.